Good morning. Today is Monday, April 20th, 2020, and today's presentation is going to be a word multiplication, two-digit by two-digit. So right now, let's go ahead and look at our learning target. Our learning target today, we need to be able to multiply a two-digit number by a two-digit number using partial product and standard algorithm strategies. The purpose of today's lesson is for you to find the strategy that works best for you. So Ms. Swinger is going to work through partial product and standard algorithm strategies, okay? Next, so let's look at our word problem of the day. It says Ms. Swinger took her fourth grade class of students to the aquarium. Admission for each student was $12. What was the total amount of money needed for the field trip? Here are our three questions to guide us along the way. We first need to figure out what operation. Second, how do we know that that's the correct operation? And the last thing that we do is try to figure out, well, what strategies could we use to help us solve the problem? And remember, today, our two strategies that we are able to choose from are partial product and standard algorithm, okay? So first, since we know our I can statement is today is multiplication, we should know that we are going to multiply. But let me point out to you the key words that you can look for in a word problem like this in the future that will help you to know if it is multiplication. Our key word here is each. There are 25 students that are going to the aquarium. It costs $12 each. So we need to multiply 12 times 25. And we know because we're trying to find the total amount of money that is needed for this field trip. Okay, so the first strategy that I'm going to go over with you here is called anyone remember what this model is called here? It's called an area model, okay? So first, we have here, our problem is 25 times 12. So that's still the same problem, okay? So let's set up our problem here on the side, just so we'll know what our problem is. Our problem is 25 times 12, okay? So now that we have our problem, it says first that we need to decompose numbers by place value. I can look at my area model and I can see that it is divided into ones and tens, okay? So I want to first decompose the numbers, meaning break the numbers apart based on their place value. So first here, I'm going to put a 5 here in the ones place, and I'm going to put the 20 here from the tens place for 25, because 20 plus 5 does give me 25. The next number is 12. So we have a 10 in the tens place and the number 2 in the ones place, because 10 plus 2 gives us 12. So we've done the first step successfully in decomposing the numbers by their place value. Next, we need to go ahead and set up the problems inside of the boxes, right? Because we want to multiply all factors by each row and column and place them in each box, okay? So let's go ahead and set up our problems here. First, here we have 10 times 20. Okay, and I know 2 times 1 is 2, and then there's 2 zeros behind, there's 1 zero behind the 10 and 1 zero behind the 20. So I add 2 zeros here. 10 times 20 is 200. Now, in this box here, we are going to need to multiply the factors 10 and 5. So 10 times 5 will give me 50. Okay, on the second row, we now need to multiply 2 by 20 and 2 by 5. Okay, so in this box here, we have 2 times 20. That gives us 40, because 2 times 2 is 4. And our trick when we're multiplying by 10 is that we can always add that 0 back in based on the number of zeros we have. Remember that? So yes, 2 times 2 is 4, and then there's 1 0, so I put the 1 0 behind my number here. And in the last box here, I need to multiply 2 times 5, which will give me 10. Okay, so I've successfully done step 1, decompose the numbers by place value. Step 2, multiply all factors by each row and column and place in each box. Check. number 3. Now I need to add all the partial products from each box to get the product, which is the final answer. So here I have 200, 50, 40, and 10. Okay, so I'm going to add those numbers together. 200 plus 50 plus 40 plus 10. Okay, so I know I need to add these numbers up to get my final product. Okay, so in the ones place here, I need to add the following numbers. 0 plus 0 plus 0 gives me 0. Very good. All right. And 5 plus 4 plus 1 gives me 10. So far, I have a 0 in the ones place. I need to regroup the ones to the tens, to the hundreds place. And 2 plus 1 is 3. Okay, so we should have okay, 0 plus 0 plus 0 gives us 0. We have 5 plus 4, which is 9, plus 1 more is 10. We have a 0 here. We regrouped a 1 here to the hundreds place. And then 2 plus 1 gives us 3. So our final answer to this problem, 25 times 12 equals 300. Now remember, this strategy here is called partial product using an area model. Now, we're going to move on and solve the same problem using standard algorithm, okay? So first, let's put our problem in the box. We have 25 times 12, okay? So first, it says we need to multiply the ones by ones and regroup if needed, okay? So this is the ones place that is here. Let me highlight that for you so that you can see that this side here is the ones place, okay? Okay, so 5 times 2, we know that that is going to give us 10, and I put my 0 in the ones place, and I regroup my 1 here to the tens place because it says regroup if needed, and we needed to. Okay, the second thing is to multiply the bottom ones by the top tens and add any regroup numbers. Okay, so now we have 2 times 2, which is 4, and then I add my regroup, which gives me 5. Okay, then it says insert a 0 as a placeholder in the ones place in the next line that is down. So I'm going to go ahead and place a 0 here. And it looks like I should probably place a 0 here as a placeholder also because I did not need to go over to the ones place in my first row of standard algorithm solving this multiplication problem. Okay? So after I've done step 3, now I need to move on to step 4. Now it says I need to multiply the bottom tens by the top ones and regroup if needed. So 1 times 5 is 5, okay? And then 1 times 2 is 3, okay? So I'm gonna place a 0 here in the 1000s place because there is no number that is 2 times 1 is 2, excuse me, okay? So I'm going to place a 0 here in the 1000s place because we like to put things there as placeholders so that when we are solving and getting our final product, we understand that there's nothing there, but it's always a good idea to place a 0 there as a placeholder because that's 0's job. So now we're going to add all partial products like we did for 4, okay? So we have 0 plus 0, which gives us 0, and we have 5 plus 5, which gives us 10. So we put our 0 here in the tens place and regroup that ones to the hundreds place. So now we have 2 plus 0 plus 1, which will give us 3. And 0 plus 0 gives us 0. So again, we have solved the same problem with 25 times 12, trying to find the total amount of money needed for the field trip. In both problems, we were able to see that we still get the same answer, which we should, okay? So now we know if Miss Winger were to take 25 students to the aquarium and it costs $12 for each student, the total amount of money that's needed for the field trip to get into the aquarium will be $300. And we know that because we solved the problem using 2 strategies and we arrived at the same product, which is 300. Now, we have 2 additional problems here. I want you to take these 2 problems, 26 times 13 and 58 times 32, and try to answer these problems on your own today. I hope that you've enjoyed our lesson,